Good evening. Welcome to your primetime news bulletin on the 1st of January 2021. News First will take any risk to report the truth and nothing but the truth to the people of this country. In this endeavor, my colleagues in the newsroom as well as our large range of provincial correspondents across the country render an invaluable service. Everyone's hope is for a good, peaceful and a healthy Sri Lanka. And all of us as proud citizens of this country are working at our best to achieve just that. We here at News First share that hope, that wish with all of you. On behalf of News First, I would like to wish you all a new year of health and happiness, wealth and wisdom, love and laughter, and a new year of hope. Here is a look at your headlines for the 1st of January of 2021.
A senior army officer designated to each district to coordinate COVID-19 prevention measures in the country. The World Health Organization approves the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine for emergency use. Will Sri Lanka receive a vaccine this year? The SLFP faced injustice, says Dayasiri Jayasekara.
අසාධාරණකම් ගණනාවක් සිද්ධ වෙලා තිබෙනවා. ඒගොල්ලෝ ඉස්සරත් තනි ගමනක් ගිහලා එන ගත්තා. යා තව තනි ගමනක් ගිහිල්ලා එන ගන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා නම් අපි යන ගන්න. අපේ ගමන අපි කොහොමද යන්නේ?
Specialists brought down from Rwanda to curb the spread of the Sena caterpillar menace.
President Gotabaya Rajapaksa met with ministers and government parliamentarians this morning to mark the commencement of activities for the new year.
According to the President's media division, the President had said that it is necessary to work with optimism to achieve the aspirations of the people while being conscious about the challenges ahead of the country. The President had engaged in cordial discussions with ministers, parliamentarians and the staff of the Presidential Secretariat to commence duties in the new year. President Secretary P. Vijayasundara had administered the oath while commencing official duties today.
People began to hate governments and disrespect state institutions when state officials, ranging from the President's secretary until other officers in the public service, do not serve the people. The President was also a state official. He takes great pride in admitting that it is not sufficient to recognize him as the voice of 1.5 million public officers. If this voice can be transformed to achieve the vistas of prosperity, then all officers in the state service can enjoy the privileges that he has earned. I feel that the President has been able to appoint the country's smallest cabinet in 40 years. When ministries and their subjects were formed in a practical and scientific manner, I understood the President's attempt to form a small but efficient government in the country.
In one of your top stories this new year, a senior army officer has been delegated to each district to coordinate COVID-19 prevention measures in the country.
The appointments were authorized by the Presidential Secretariat with effect from today based on the recommendations of Army Commander General Shavendra Silva, who heads the National Operations Centre for Prevention of COVID-19 outbreak. The appointment letters were handed over to the district coordinating officers by the Army Commander yesterday. The newly appointed officers include 18 Major Generals, 5 Brigadiers and 2 Colonels. The officers and their respective districts are as follows. Major General W.G.H.A.S. Bandara, Jaffna. Major General K.N.S. Kotuegoda, Kilinochchi. Major General R.P.M.G. Ratnayaka, Mullatiu. Major General W.L.P.W. Pereira, Vaunia. Major General A.A.I.J. Bandara, Mena. Major General J.C. Gamage, Polonnaruwa. Major General H.L.V.M. Liyanage, Anuradhapura. Major General A.P.I. Fernando, Puttalam. Brigadier P.M.R.H.S.K. Herath, Kurunegala. Major General K.W.R. Diabru, Colombo. Major General N.R. Lamaheva, Gampaha. Brigadier K.N.D. Kurunapala, Kaludara. Major General H.P.N.K. Jayapatirna, Nuwara. Major General S.M.S.P.B. Samarkun, Kandy. Major General S.U.M.N. Manage, Matale. Brigadier J.M.R.N.K. Jayaman, Ratnapura. Brigadier L.A.J.L.B. Udovia, Kegol. Major General C.D. Veera Surya, Trincomalee. Major General T.D. Veerakun, Ampara. Major General C.D. Ranasinghe, Batiklo. Brigadier EAP Edirivira Badulla, Colonel DUN Serasinghe Monaragala, Major General DMHT Bandara Hammantota, Major General WASS Vanasinghe Gaul, Colonel KAU Kodituakku Matara. The Presidential Secretariat has vested them with the responsibilities of taking steps to curb the spread of COVID-19, overlooking the quarantine process, providing transport facilities to and from the quarantine centres, and coordinating with the Presidential Secretariat, the Presidential Task Force on Economic Revival and Poverty Eradication, the Health Ministry and the State Ministry on Disaster Management to address emergency needs. Meanwhile, 5 more senior brigadiers were promoted to the rank of Major General today. This includes Brigadier Manoj Lamaheva, Brigadier Ajit Disanayaka, Brigadier Dammi Hevage, Brigadier Manjula Karunaratna and Brigadier Lal Chandrasiri. The appointments were made by President Gotabaya Rajapaksa based on the recommendations of Army Commander General Shavendra Silva. Meanwhile, 560 officers serving on other ranks have been promoted to their next rank to coincide with the 24th anniversary of the Special Forces that falls today. A group including 325 corporals, 70 lance corporals and 84 sergeants received the promotion.
Meanwhile, the Sri Lanka Army will take over the printing of driver's licenses with effect from today. Accordingly, operations commenced at the Department of Motor Traffic in Verahara today. Minister of Transport Gamini Lokuge, State Minister Dilum Amunugama, Army Commander General Shavendra Silva and others were present at the occasion. Until this year, the printing of driver's licenses was jointly done by the Department of Motor Traffic and a foreign entity. With the Army taking over this task, we will be able to save a significant amount of funds. The IT Corps of the Sri Lanka Army will be involved in this process. The printing of driver's licenses will be carried out as a joint effort by the IT Corps of the Sri Lanka Army and the Department of Motor Traffic. A centre will be established by the IT wing of the Sri Lanka Army to carry out this task. Those who were previously involved in the operations of printing driver's licenses will be absorbed to a volunteer corps of the Sri Lanka Army. Apart from those who resign voluntarily, we will ensure that no one will be left out from employment.
Main sponsor.
While hopes galore on eradicating COVID-19 this year, the World Health Organization approved the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine for emergency use today. However, for Sri Lankans, questions have arisen on when the country would receive the vaccine and the arrangements that are being made to this effect.
The World Health Organization has announced that the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine has met the must-have criteria for safety and efficacy. Issuing a statement today, the global health body declared that the benefits of the vaccine have outnumbered concerns surrounding the jab. According to the World Health Organization, the validation granted to the vaccine for emergency use is a positive step towards ensuring global access to COVID-19 vaccines. The European Medicines Agency, the US Food and Drug Administration, UK, Canada, Bahrain, Israel, Kuwait, Mexico, Qatar, Saudi Arabia and Singapore have already approved the vaccine to be used in their respective countries. What are Sri Lanka's preparations to obtain the COVID-19 vaccine?
The efficiency of the virus, including on whether it would provide immunity against all variants of the coronavirus, the positive and negative effects involved in producing antibodies and the durability of such antibodies have not been identified yet. That uncertainty prevails in all parts of the world. It is against such a backdrop that measures are being taken in respect of the vaccine. Therefore, we will be able to obtain the vaccines only when all our doubts are expelled from its associated factors. Until then, our country will have to remain on the waiting list. If we remain on the waiting list beginning this month, we will be able to obtain the vaccine in February if it proves to be successful. The efficiency of the vaccine will be tested based on blood samples obtained 21 days after injecting the jab. We are currently in this phase. If the blood samples show that antibodies have been produced by the vaccine, then the jab can be identified as a successful one. We will want to bring down the vaccine only if it ends up being successful. Therefore, we will remain on the waiting list. We will obtain the vaccine only if it proves to be successful. There is room for failure in all vaccines that are being tested across the world. The best example is the Sarampur vaccine. Even at medical college, we have been taught that the efficiency of this vaccine stands at about 85%. It is through that lens that we are looking at this vaccine as well.
It would be very easy to restore normalcy if there is a vaccine. We managed to eradicate diseases such as smallpox due to the usage of vaccines. The Pfizer vaccine is currently the widely recognized jab. It received validation from the World Health Organization today. The Moderna and the AstraZeneca vaccines are also being used overseas. A large number of doses are available to be used in Sri Lanka and foreign countries. Current data show that the vaccine is likely to be effective against the new COVID-19 strain that was detected in the UK. Just like influenza, the genetic material of the COVID-19 changes rapidly. New vaccines are discovered daily against influenza. If the same situation occurs to the COVID-19, we can face that situation as well. The Health Ministry is taking steps to bring down the vaccine at the earliest.
In response to queries made by Newsfirst, the World Health Organization said that 190 countries, including Sri Lanka, have signed up for its COVAX facility to obtain the vaccine. The WHO's country office in Sri Lanka said that countries will progressively receive doses until all countries reach 20% of their population. It added that the doses are expected to begin arriving in the middle of this year. The WHO said that the country must draw up a national plan for the deployment of a COVID-19 vaccine, including a budgeting framework and prioritization of population groups. The vaccine that would be offered under the COVAX facility is yet to be determined.
The Ramukkana and Katanguri police jurisdictions along with 11 Grama Nilndhari divisions in Kalmune were isolated from today. The Government Information Department said that the Kalmune 1, Kalmune 1C, Kalmune E, Kalmune 2, Kalmune 2A, Kalmune 2B, Kalmune 3, Kalmune 3A and Kalmune Kudi 1, 2 and 3 are among the isolated areas. The restrictions have been imposed in a bid to curb the spread of COVID-19.
Directing your attention towards the political arena of the country, Sri Lanka Freedom Party General Secretary Dayasiri Jayasekara has said that his party will attempt to resolve issues within its alliance by holding discussions in the future.
Senior Sri Lanka Freedom Party members Dayasiri Jayasekara and Nimal Siripala de Silva visited the party headquarters in Dali Road today to kickstart activities for the new year. We hope to engage in collective efforts to strengthen the party. We will strengthen efforts to uplift the party as well. We will move forward by protecting the government that we have established. That is the challenge that we have. He has made this remark while referring to the provincial council election. He had said that the party expects its due share of nominations at the election. Our party has faced several injustices in the past. We hope to resolve them by holding discussions. We will have to decide at that point. The Sri Lanka Freedom Party hopes to obtain a share of nominations at the provincial council polls. They failed in their attempt to undertake a solo journey, but we will not repeat the same mistake. We will move forward with our political journey. The Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna is ready to undertake a solo journey. We are not afraid of that. We discussed this matter during a meeting this morning as well. The constituent parties have the right to express their opinion.
මේ රජය බලයට පත් කිරීමේදී දායක වෙච්ච
Several parties work to elect the government into power apart from the Sri Lanka Freedom Party. We have treated all those parties in a fair manner. Certain parties do not have representatives in parliament despite supporting us. We must first ask the question of how they are defining fairness. Are they expecting more ministerial portfolios? We must treat the people who granted a two-thirds majority to the government before treating the political parties.
මතිකම් වැඩි කරලා දීම. අපිට කාට සලකන්නත් ඉස්සෙල්ලා තුනෙන් දෙකක බලයක් අපිට ලබලා දීපු මේ රටේ මිනිස්සුන්ට සලකන්න ඕනේ.
ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පක්ෂය යම් හේකින් ඉවත් වුණොත් මේ නව වසරේ කොහොමද රජයක් විදියට කටයුතු කරන්නේ?
ඕන්ට ඉවත් වී යන්නට නොදී අපි ඕන් අප සමග
We must take steps to prevent them from leaving the alliance. There is a common ground for both parties that is not limited to the power of being large in numbers. The strength of our political force depends on our unity.
අපේ දේශපාලන බලවේගයේ ශක්තිය රැඳී තිබෙන්නේ මේ අපේ එකතුව තුළයි.
Meanwhile, Samagi Jana Balavegia parliamentarian Partly Champaka Ranavaka has said the government has fallen into a massive crisis at present.
A major problem in the country nowadays is that certain media institutions are attempting to divert the attention of the people from the real problems by bringing several political gimmicks to the fore. Although it has been proven that incidents such as the snake that emerged from the Kalania River and the Dhammika tonic are false, there is a possibility that such incidents will reoccur this year. We can identify this year as one in which several activities will take place this year. On the political front, the government has found itself in a deep crisis. Certain entities in the government have been disrupted. We do not want to topple the government. We experienced similar activities in 2015 and 2019. This government cannot succeed by moving forward with an unskilled team of individuals and by encouraging a state apparatus under which financial institutions can be removed while incorporating individuals with paper qualifications into the administration process. It is not practical to develop the country with such a background. Our target for 2021 is to build a skilled generation, to build a just and formidable society where people in all parts of the country must come together. Let us hope to establish a country in which skills and qualifications are given priority this year.
කුසලතාවයට මුල් තැන දෙන ඉන්න හිතන රටක් හදන්නට 2021 මේ සියලු අරුබුද හරහා අපි අධිෂ්ඨාන කරගමු.
We are crossing off the short commercial break. More news on the other side.
Struggling to find reliable plumbers, electricians, gardeners and other service providers? Bellboys got you covered.
Back to the news. A broad discourse has arisen on whether the provincial council elections will take place in the country.
COVID ආසාදනයේ තත්වය ඉදිරි කාලේ
The government believes that the provincial council elections will be held after evaluating our success in combating the spread of COVID-19 in the country and considering whether the environment is conducive for a poll.
සභා ඡන්දය පැවැත්වීම තමයි ආණ්ඩුවේ මතය.
Since there is a fear among the Sinhalese community that the country will be divided through the provincial council system, we will be able to carry out the devolution of power through provincial bodies to quell these fears. Therefore, the government should make a decision to conduct the provincial council elections by amending the relevant laws or taking these matters into consideration by passing a new constitution before the 16th of November this year.
මේ වසරේ නොවැම්බර් මාසයේ 16 වෙනි දිනට ප්‍රථම
We all know that the provincial council system was derived by the 1987 Indo-Lanka Accord. It is a solution that was given to J.R. Jayawardena. If we do not need this system, what would be the alternative? If we are changing the provincial council system, then it must be done with the support of India. It cannot be done single-handedly by our country. Anyone can call for the abolition of the provincial council system without realizing the repercussions that we will have to face as a result of doing it.
There are divided opinions within the government on the provincial council elections. On one hand, individuals like Vasudeva Nayakara and Bandula Gunawardena are saying that the provincial council polls will be held this year. On the other hand, Sarath Virasekara claims that the provincial council system would not go ahead. Based on reports we have seen, the president has declared that the provincial council election must be postponed during a meeting, and that individuals like Basil Rajapaksa have been demotivated by this. There is a division of opinion within the government on conducting the provincial council election. Attempts are being made to divert the attention towards fake problems in order to pave the way for the provincial polls.
ඇත්ත ප්‍රශ්න යටපත් කරමින් ව්‍යාජ ප්‍රශ්න උඩට ගෙනමින් තියෙනවා.
පළාත් සභා තියෙන එකේ යම්කිසි පළ ප්‍රයෝජනයකුත් රට.
There is a benefit of conducting the provincial council election if the system is maintained properly. If suitable politicians are elected to these institutions, it will build a second ring in politics. I saw a secretary of a powerful party allied with the government saying that the election should be held as it was introduced by India and that we cannot damage ties with them. Those are irrational statements. Nevertheless, I find that conducting an election, given the current situation, is not suitable at all.
මැතිවරණයකට යෑම මොනම ආකාරي මැතිවරණයකට හරි යෑම සුදුසුයි කියලා මම දකින්නේ.
The government came to power by assuring that they will protect the resources of this country. Our country has ample national resources. If they are protected and managed in a manner in which it contributes to the economic development of the country and the people, there is no need to sell them off to foreign entities. If the government is trying to do that, then it is completely wrong. The government's activities are aimed at transforming the country into a colony. Provincial councils are not required as they are white elephants. There are 9 provinces and chief ministers for each region. The devolution of power can take place by improving the efficiency of Pradesh Sabhas, but we cannot act according to the whims and fancies of India. The sovereignty of the country must be maintained. Foreign entities must not be allowed to meddle with the internal matters of the country.
While the provincial council election has heated many platforms, the question remains, have provincial councils been successful in solving the problems of the people in the rural areas? Farmers have not received any compensation for the losses they have suffered due to the damages caused to their crops by the Sena caterpillar menace. And as a result, a team of experts from Rwanda have been brought down to Sri Lanka to find a solution to this crisis.
ඉරුඟට ගච්චි ඒවා බෙහෙත් පොර ඒ වගේ තමයි කුඹුරුත් විනාශ වෙලා තියෙන්නේ දැන් පයන සම්පූර්ණ පණුව කාල විනාශ වෙලා තියෙන්නේ.
Farmers in the country are in deep trouble due to the infestation of the Sena caterpillar that has damaged their crops since last year. During the last 2 months, Newsfirst has highlighted the woes of the farmers experienced due to this problem. Newsfirst reported on the massive damages caused by the caterpillar after it was first detected in the Ampara district in 2018. Questions have constantly been raised on the enthusiasm displayed by the responsible stakeholders in resolving the problem. Farmers complain that they are yet to receive compensation for the damages caused to cornfields by the Sena caterpillar in 2018. In the recent months, maize cultivations in several areas of the Ampara district were destroyed by the Sena caterpillar, dashing the hopes of farmers in the area. Newsfirst has constantly reported on the problems caused due to the Sena caterpillar after learning the woes of farmers by travelling across the country. But the failure to pay due attention towards addressing the problems has aggravated the spread of the Sena caterpillar, resulting in the destruction of maize cultivations. Only few crops that manage to survive the menace are bearing harvest for the farmers.
The Sena caterpillar eats the pollen in the flower. Flower pollen extract is vital for pollination to take place. After the flower pollen is damaged, the entire plant and fruit is of no use. The Sena caterpillar has damaged 80% of our crops.
The national convener of the All Ceylon Farmers Federation, Nama Karuna Ratna, visited farmers to inspect the damage caused by Sena caterpillars.
We were granted a repellent to be applied on our crops as a trial run, but it was not successful. We applied the pesticide this time as well, but it has not resolved the problem. When the Sena caterpillar damaged crops during the previous season, we visited this area. Initially, the caterpillar would leave after the corn plant matures, but this is not the case anymore. The caterpillar remains regardless of whether the plant is matured or not. The insect is learning to adapt to new conditions. We urge the government to address this issue immediately. A national plan must be formulated to eradicate this caterpillar. We are prepared to support the government unconditionally.
Meanwhile, the team of experts from Rwanda who arrived in the country upon the invitation of President Gotabaya Rajapaksa to curb the spread of the Sena caterpillar inspected farmlands in the Mahabulankulama Samagipura Pahalagama area in Anuradhapura today. If remedies were sought when this matter was exposed in the first instance, wouldn't the country be able to save the taxpayers' money in obtaining foreign support?
Meanwhile, tensions have erupted at provincial councils while various views are being expressed on the provincial council elections. Recent incidents have often shown members of parties that control provincial councils criticizing the chairmen of their local units. A tense situation arose during the opening ceremony of a library and the sub-office of the Khatana Pradesh Sabha, citing that the politician in the electorate has not been granted due prominence.
The opening ceremony took place under the patronage of State Minister Nimal Lanza and the chairman of the Khatana Pradesh Sabha. The plaque for the building was unveiled by the invitees at the event. But a group raised objections, citing that a member of the Khatana Pradesh Sabha representing the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna had not been granted due prominence. These facilities must be opened at auspicious times. Today's event was held without singing the national anthem. We are sad to witness this situation. Our electorate has its political representatives. They must be allowed to at least hoist the national flag. These projects are not carried out using the funds of certain individuals. These are state funds. The national anthem lies in a person's heart. Although they are demanding for the national anthem, they will not stand in respect when it is sung. The national anthem is not the problem here. We sang the national anthem before coming here. We even took part in an official event this morning. What matters is whether we work for the country or not. Claims made by individuals at the event are of no use. The politician who spearheaded this project was allowed to deliver the vote of thanks. They are trying to create trouble here. My time is valuable. I am the chairman of the Pradesh Sabha. What is the problem here? Do not waste my time. Do not try to spoil this moment. The chairman of the Pradesh Sabha later expressed regret over the incident that occurred this morning. I express regret over the shortcomings that took place, but anything serious did not happen. We inaugurated the project for the benefit of the people.
The construction of the new Kalani Bridge is among the key development projects that are taking place in the country at present. Today, Highways Minister Johnston Fernando inspected the construction of the new Kalani Bridge that is aimed at minimizing traffic congestion.
The new Kalani Bridge, spanning 3 kilometers, is among the main development projects taking place in the country. The construction of the bridge, inclusive of 6 lanes with interchanges and entry points, is currently in its final stages. The project, worth 35.02 billion Japanese yen, is taking place under a loan offered by the Japan International Cooperation Agency. The government has acquired a land area of 12.9 hectares for the bridge that will be connected to the Colombo-Katunaika Expressway and the Port Access Elevated Highway. Although the bridge was expected to be vested with the public last year, construction activities had been affected after the number of daily workers were reduced to 700 from 1,500 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Project Director Darshika Jayasekara said that 89% of the construction has been completed and that a 9-meter portion of the bridge running over the Kalani River is yet to be constructed.
Welcome back. Sri Lanka's headline inflation, as measured by the change in the Colombo Consumer Price Index, has increased marginally to 4.2% in December 2020 from 4.1% in November.
According to the central bank, the inflation has been driven up by the monthly increase of prices of items in both food and non-food categories. Food inflation had decreased to 9.2% in December last year from 10.3% recorded in November, while non-food inflation had increased to 2% in December from 1.6% in November. The change in the CCPI measured on an annual average basis remained unchanged at 4.6% in December 2020 for the third consecutive month.
Sri Lanka Telecom and Mobitel joined hands to form one brand that would serve as the leader in offering solutions to the country's ICT sector.
The merger of both companies that saw the formation of the brand SLT Mobitel took place with the participation of senior officials of both companies today. SLT Mobitel said that the unification will be a contributive factor to the government's efforts in creating a technology-driven economy and a technology-based society. It added that the unified brand will aim at strengthening the country's ICT infrastructure, empowering the people and transforming businesses with digitalization.
Sri Lankans across the island celebrated the dawn of the new year today while engaging in religious activities. Those are the visuals of people across the world celebrating 2021. With that note, we wrap up this edition of Primetime News for today. I'm Tarushi Kumar Singh along with our sign language interpreter for today, Taraka Gabriel. Good night.